How is it going, everybody? Wow, it has been a hot second since I've sat down and made a video. I recently had a comment that's like, when are you going to get back into lure making? And I'm like, that's a good question, and we will. But I have some other projects and stuff in the works, but we are going to get back to some lure building pretty soon. I actually have some different projects here that I've been working on, and I have some different like paint projects and like different like lure builds in the works. But today's video, you already know, we're going through the Swimbait Arsenal. And when I got started throwing swimbaits last year, I never would have thought that I have some of the stuff that I do. And I never would have thought, like, what a cool community this is, like, how enthralled I'd be into it, and things like that. I'm very fortunate to have some of the stuff that I do, and for all of it, I haven't had to spend an arm and a leg for it. I have a podcast episode about, you know, talking about that, about talking my first season of swimbaits, but I wanted to go over the Arsenal a little bit. There is some cool stuff that I have. I don't have a huge collection of stuff because I am trying just to hone in and focus on a couple different things. But I have some stuff that I wanted specifically for like specific scenarios. But we're going to hop right into it. Let's start with some of the projects that I have going on. We'll start with this. This is a hammerhead shark swimbait blank that I have. This is going to be one of the hammerhead sharks for 500 sub giveaway, which we're pretty excited about. I think that's going to be epic. And of course, if you watched the painting video with the 6-cent straw, there it is right there. Test swam this a bit last season, didn't really throw it because I wanted it specifically to be painted like a rainbow trout, since there's a lot of stock rainbow trout this size in my home bodies of water. Tone this down a little bit. But anyway, we're gonna move on. So one of the glide baits that I picked up is this Bass Pro Shop XPS Swerve. I'm wanting to repaint this. This is also going to be in the 500 subscriber giveaway. Just not sure what to paint it yet. I haven't had like inspiration for it. There's been like a little bit. I've already painted it and like took off the paint a couple of different times. It's honestly kind of sad because I haven't had like really inspiration for that bait at all, versus like, because it's like I could paint a shad pattern on it, but it's like, why wouldn't I have just left the shad pattern on it that I had? But anyway, then it's also featured in a recent video where I did a little bit of a on the water review of the Fat Tony's Tamale. And this is a cool little bait. It's more of a top water bait, multi-jointed. It doesn't weigh very much. It's pretty thick profile. Pretty slick little bait. And the guy that painted one of my other baits here really likes this bait. Says it's underrated. He's like one of the kind of low-key bait painters on Swimbait Universe on the Facebook group. But I don't even know where to begin, because that's some of the project stuff. We're going to head into glide baits, then we'll do like kind of some top water multi-jointed, going to clump that together, then we'll end with like soft baits. No, I take that back. Let's start with soft baits, because like that's what I have most confidence in, but it's not like as far as soft bait goes, it's kind of chuck and wind for me. They're not like super interesting as far as like action goes. It's just kind of chuck and wind. But I got this on sale. This is a mag draft And I do like this bait quite a bit. I threw it around quite a bit here last year. I got it on sale at Shields on clearance. And it's a shad color, and it kind of has a pink lateral line, so it's kind of, I picked it up because it's pretty ambiguous, but it also throws off like kind of rainbow trout vibes. And I just keep it in the package like that so it stays fine. And then, so the tail doesn't get bent. Moving on, I have multiple of these. I didn't want to bust them out in like a couple different colors, but like more ambiguous colors like this. Nothing like too out there. But I got a couple 6-inch HUDs. Those are going to be thrown around quite a bit, especially coming here in springtime ice out. Just going to be slow rolling these. And then the other part of that is I have a few of these 68 special HUDs. So they're a 6-inch HUD, but they got an 8-inch Huddleston tail on them. So they got like move more water, they got more of a kick, and this is in that rainbow trout pattern, which I'm pretty excited to throw. I'll probably be throwing quite a bit of this. Got like a heck of a deal on buying multiple HUDs from somebody. And then I got both of these next baits, these next two, from Bait and Tackle. I did an unboxing of these, and I threw this around quite a bit. This is that 6-inch Epic Stud in more of a rainbow trout pattern. And I threw that around quite a bit. Got a couple hits on it, and no connections. Mended it, like super glued and melted, and like mended this one up specifically. I have another one, but I'm gonna fish this until it just completely is trashed. And we're well on the way there already. I've already super glued this up quite a bit, just because even just like not getting hits, it just kind of gets beat up just throwing it like all day. And then it has a owner beast hook on it that I slightly upbent to hopefully get a better hookup ratio. And then the big brother of that is the 7.8-inch Epic Boss. And this is a big honking swim bait. Like, this is a big soft plastic, and I feel like there's a couple different thoughts on that. Like, some people really like the soft plastic swim baits, some people really like fishing glide baits, or they like fishing topwater wake baits. I have a little bit of it all, and so I'm just kind of excited to be throwing this. Got a couple follows on this last year. Didn't get any connections on it, but I feel like this is really going to shine like in the summertime. Because like both of these, I'm impressed with their action. They like swim well fast, and they swim well at a slower speed. So I really like those. How like I store these? I store these ones like this on top of a tackle box, versus like the Huddlestons I have a little hanger, and they just store like that, so the tail stays straight. And with all these other baits, I store them like that as well. It just makes it easy for me, because when I go out, I'm only bringing a couple of baits at a time. I'm not bringing like the whole collection. I think that's super unnecessary. But let's move on. This is the only shad style bait that I have. This is a Zimmer Instigator, and my guy Spice can't fish. He has one and he likes the bait, but this is the only shad style like glide bait that I have, or like shad style bait in general, just like this profile and everything. A couple reasons for that. There's not like a ton of shad in my body ways. I feel like when I'm fishing for bass, I'm mainly going to be fishing like more trout style bodies or bluegill style bodies. I don't have a ton of bluegill either, but I was like, well, I need a shad style bait, just because I don't have one. And when I go and fish other bodies of water that have them, you know, definitely wanted one of these. And this got like soft silicone fins, and it's a pretty cool bait. It's like purple on top and fades into black, and the scaling's really nice and has this like nice lateral line through it. Like, this is a really good handmade bait. This is a really good, nice resin bait. I haven't had a chance to fish it or swim it, but it's pretty cool. Let's I'm not even sure the size on this one. Let me look real quick. This is a 7-inch version. I know they have a 6-inch. This is a 7-inch, unless this is the 6-inch and it's 7 with the tail. I don't know, but it's in pretty good shape. And moving on, we'll do some of the baits that I really fished with last year. So this was one that I had the most success on last year, just because I fished it more. And this is a pretty small one at this point, because like, so you have this 6-inch, and then you have, you know, this 7-inch one that way bigger profile, way not like, you know, this is like thicker profile versus this is like pretty slim. But I caught a couple different pike, I caught a bass on this, and the more I fished glide baits and got better ones, the more I'm like, oh, this one's like really not that great, but it kind of has a soft spot in my heart. I threw the shit out of this in the last year. And then one that the same bait but in a different color. This is painted by a guy on Swimbait Universe. Did it free of charge in like this bluegill pattern. I really like this. I did not throw this at all last year, just because I was more focused on the one that I painted. But this is a really cool bait. It looks really nice. There's like some of this like crackling on the bottom where the paint and clear coat like did a thing, but it's not a big deal to me. Like, it's a great looking bait. I like how that was. And I like how, so with these two baits, I'm digging this trout pattern more than this trout pattern that I did. I think this one looks better than this one. But you let me know what you guys think. And then another bait that I had success with last year. This is a knockoff bait of a DRT Tiny Clash. But I really like this pattern. I got this bait, the dude threw it in when I bought my Gantarelle from him. But this is a cool bait, has some rash on it. I caught a bass with this last year. I really enjoyed throwing it. I thought, I was like, hey, this is a knockoff, but it has a decent action. So I really like that. But then I went and picked up the DRT TK. This is the Toxic Gill pattern from Caesar from Toxic Baits. That's his pattern. And this is rashed up a little bit, but I got a really good price on this. You know, it has the blanket on the top. It says it's the TK, it says it's 6.6 inches, and this is the low float one. This is a really cool bait. I really like this color. I have another Tiny Clash coming in Joy Thief. I believe that's the Working Class Zero color. And then I was pretty excited to get this bait as well. I have more glide baits than anything else. This is the Depths 175. This is the Swimbait Underground Butch Brown Swimbait 24/7 collab, and this is in the like golden shiner color. And I was like, well, this would be a good color because there's bait fish like this. I feel like this is a pretty ambiguous color, but I wanted a little bit bigger glide bait that I can fish slow. And honestly, this is still, I feel like, not a huge bait. This is the 175 compared to the 250. This is a small bait. But like, then you come and you look, so this is a slightly bigger bait. I would consider this a big bait versus this one. And you know, I'm very happy and I'm very excited to throw this. This is going to be a staple for me in the spring because I can get, I've seen swim videos, you can get a pretty wide glide out of this. But this next bait, I've been coveting for quite a while. And I'm very happy to get one. I was very fortunate to get one for a super good price. And I was like, you know, my mama said, if I wait, good things will happen to me. And I waited, and good things happened. Because I was waiting. This is my first wood bait. This is the Roman Made Negotiator. This is the 7-inch glide bait by Roman Made. It's a wood bait versus some of these others are either ABS plastic or resin baits. And it does have some cosmetic damages, but it's in good condition. With it being wood, you have to be a little bit more careful with how you take care of it, because that wood can swell, and then, you know, that leads to other issues that you have. But this was in good condition. I've heard these fish quite similarly to a Roman Made mother. You know, those mothers are huge. I think it's like a 10 to 12 inch bait. I don't remember for sure exactly, but it's in this nice yellow perch pattern, like super nice paint job on it. But these have really wide, slow action. So I feel like that's gonna be a big staple coming into springtime. Just a wide, slow action to trigger some bites. Like I said, I don't have a ton here, but we'll move on to some of the finesse stuff and then the top water. So I'm going to lump this into the finesse category because this is the Jackal Gantarelle. But one of the smallest bass that I caught this year was on this bait. Super small fish, just like a reaction strike. I also caught a pike on this bait this year. Not a huge pike, it was like maybe 12 inches. Like a pretty small hammer handle pike. But this is a cool bait. This is another ABS plastic bait. Has this really nice translucent bluegill pattern on it that I really like. Didn't throw it a ton this year, or you know, this last year, but probably throw it a little bit more this coming year, especially in some of the places that are a little more bluegill than trout heavy. Especially I'm fishing up shallow towards the bank. But really like that bait. And then moving on to some of the other finesse swim baits I have. Got these in a lot. This is the Mike Bucca baby bullgill in this crappie pattern. Multi-jointed, slow sinking swim bait. This is a really cool bait. I haven't used it yet, but that's gonna come in clutch. Some of those small ponds and stuff like that. But then I also got this because I was like, this is one of those baby bullshats from Ketchco and Mike Bucca, and it's in that rainbow trout pattern. And I was like, I think this will be a really cool bait. These baits are kind of designed to be burned and like fished really fast. I think that will come in clutch for a couple different scenarios. and I can throw both of those on my regular bait casting setups, just, you know, my kind of crankbait, jerkbait rod. I think those will fish really nice on that. And then, I've been coveting this bait for a while. It's not quite in the pattern that I wanted. I wanted more of a bluegill pattern, and I don't know what the hell kind of like pattern this is called, but this is a Gracely Baits finesse gill. Really cool bait. Like, these baits just get munched because they are just a finesse glide bait, a finesse swim bait. There's a full-size version of this, and then Kyle from Kyle Gracely, he's coming out with some glide baits called the Shat, and I kind of want one of those, but I don't want this like a huge collection, because I feel like if I have too many swim baits, that's just too many that I can't fish with all at once. Because I am definitely not going to be coming out and bringing absolutely everything. I think that's ridiculous. There's no way I could fish with all of these in one day. Unless I'm just doing a couple casts, cutting, retying. But that gets old. So I was really excited to get this bait. I'm really excited to fish this. It's going to be... It's a little bit too heavy for my crankbait rod, but I think it'll be... I think that it'll be handled just fine, because my swim bait rod is 1 to 4 ounce, and so all of these baits fit into that category as well. And it's a mod fast, so I feel like it has the give to fish these treble hooked baits, but also has like the backbone to maybe hammer it in on these bigger soft plastics, because that's a big thick hook, and that's a lot of plastic for that hook to move through. And moving on to one of my favorite categories, top water. And I have 2 really cool baits for that. So right now I have this rat wake bait. This is my OG rat wake bait. This bait has caught quite a few fish. Kind of sparked my interest in like swim bait fishing, if you will. This is like my first swim bait, you know, and I made it myself and had success with it. I have a couple other rats that I'm making right now that are in the works, but it's wood. It's pretty loud. I got these tails hand poured from a guy that I met down in Florida. Cool dude. Six Sticks Plastics. So if you need some like hand poured soft plastics, he's kind of the dude. He does a lot of crappie soft plastics too. But a cool rat wake bait. Has good action on it. I think I can do better though. So that's why I'm making a new one, because I kind of want to retire this. I want to put it up on here. I actually have to lower this. It's not quite how I want it. And it has some of my early stuff on it. There's a couple swim baits on there that I categorize. A couple little adventures in there. This next one is kind of my pride. Besides the Negotiator, this might be like my pride and joy of the collection, because I wanted one for a really long time. They're pretty spendy. I got a really good deal on it in a trade that I couldn't pass up. I had the Scales and Tails zine, and I had the first 3 issues, and the guy was like, the guy on the trade, he had this bait lot that was up for sale or trade, and he was like, he had this and he wanted S&T zines, and I had the first 3 issues. And so I threw him the first 3 issues with a little bit of cash, and I got this throwback Wake Walker. That thing is just absolutely gorgeous. That is a beautiful swim bait. That paint job is beautiful. That beautiful bluegill pattern. The homeless fisherman just messes them up on this. Like, there's not a lot to say about this bait besides it's a throwback. And it's a local swim bait maker as well. Kyle from Throwback, he lives in Minnesota, and he makes these out of his little commercial space. And these baits are cool. I was able to test swim this, and I'm very, very excited to throw it this year. It's like, when I got it, when I received it in the mail, I'm like, that's a good size swim bait. I was like, oh, that's kind of big. That's bigger than what I expected. So I've seen a lot of pictures of them, and I was like, oh, you know, that's like not like a huge swim bait. But yeah, definitely on the bigger side. But I'm pretty stoked to have it. And he recently also came out with the smaller version of these called the Cheat Code. And I really want one of those. Like, this hobby's bad in the fact that you see stuff and it's cool and you want it. But it's kind of like any hobby, and I guess it's better than smoking meth, so what do you do? Well, I'm pretty excited. I think in these upcoming videos, upcoming fishing videos, you're going to be seeing quite a few of this stuff being deployed. Like, I'm really excited about it. Like I said, not a huge collection, not the most prestigious collection, not like all the hype baits or anything, but I have a lot of confidence in stuff that I picked up. I think it's going to catch me a lot of fish. I'm very excited about it. Move on real quick. This is the reel that I was using last year. This is the Corrado Bantam. This is the Shimano Bantam Corrado CU201 200 size reel, early 2000s Shimano bait casting reel. Just a flippin' tank. I got these Gomexus power handle knobs on it. And this has been a good reel. This is a fantastic reel. If you want this reel, I actually have it for sale. So if it's still available, hit me up. I'll let you know if it's still available. But like, if you want this reel, shoot me an offer, because I got into kind of an upgraded reel. This thing's kind of heavy, and I fish quite a bit. Workhorse, tank of a reel, be a great reel for anybody. But in one of the trades that I was able to proctor, I was able to get a new CU, or you know, not a CU, but a 201K Shimano Corrado. So lighter reel. I'm going to replace the stock handles. I want to get those Gomexus flat knobs. I think those are pretty cool. They're kind of like a DRT flat knob kind of knockoff, but they are more budget friendly for me. And then I got my does need a cleaning. If you want me to, if you buy that Bantam Corrado, I will clean it before I send it to you. Well, just let me know. Oh, it's a 741. So it's a 201K HG, however that, 201 HGK Shimano Corrado. It's just more palmable. It's lighter than that reel. Want to get the bigger knobs for it because I like those bigger knobs when I'm fishing bigger baits. And I have that on the Swimbait rod that I built. It's a North Fork Composites carbon fiber handle going into an MHX heavy, medium fast blank. This has been a great rod for me. The fish that I have caught, it has not felt underpowered. The only time this reel or this rod has felt underpowered is when I've been throwing some of those bigger baits. Like I had a DRT K9 that I bought for like really underpriced, and then I traded it off, and part of that trade was getting new reels. But I've been very impressed with this rod. And I like this handle. It's not super grippy. It's pretty smooth, but I've been liking it so far. I haven't had any issues with like losing my grip or anything. And it just tucks in nicely into your little armpit pocket. But that's the Arsenal. That's what we got going on. Like I said, I got some like duplicate 6-inch HUDs, and I have a tiny Clash coming in just because I've been really digging that TK, which is funny because I really dig the TK versus like Spice Catfish. He really digs that K9, and I was like, man, you need to get into a TK. And he's been fishing swim baits longer than I have, so I was like, hey, get into one of those TKs. I think you're gonna like it. And I think he is gonna like it. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you feel so inclined, there's a Buy Me Coffee link down below that helps support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I flippin' love doing this. Love making videos. Love fishing. Love making lures. Like, this is so awesome. I'm glad to be getting back into the swing of it after not doing it for a while. So thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you for the next one.